everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk Physical Media. My name is John, and this is the weekly show where we talk all things physical media and everything else in the world of film. And it was another busy week in the world of physical media. We got Shout and Scream Factory's December 2024 announcements, and some stuff that we got rumored last week did get confirmed this week. The big one being The Faculty is officially coming to 4K Blu-ray after all those rumors about it coming and even those fake pre-order options, or I guess they were real, but Scream Factory pulled that and then, delayed it, and we didn't really know why, but we're officially getting it on 4K Blu-ray this December. And it looks like we're going to have 2 new extras with it. And, the cover art, I can understand being a little bit disappointed because they didn't do any alternate cover art, but I feel like the original movie poster is more than enough for this one. And then the other big one, at least for me, is Silent Night, Deadly Night, and this one's going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. I believe this was actually previously released by Scream Factory, so it's going to be receiving that big 4K Blu-ray upgrade, and you can even buy the novelization with this one off the website. And from what I know, and from what I understand, Ken from Mid-Level Media was explaining in the live stream that we did on Frank's channel earlier this week, is that was out of print for a long time, and people were selling them on eBay for about $300, and I think you could just buy that novelization now off of Scream Factory's website, for pre-order for December on its own, even without the 4K Blu-ray, for about $30. So that's pretty cool that it's back in print for people who want that, and you can buy the 4K Blu-ray with that as well. So, giving us all the bells and whistles. The other one that was announced, again, rumored last week, was The Holdovers, starring Paul Giamatti. This was one last year where Paul Giamatti was recognized for his work in it, almost won Best Actor that year, but, he ran against Cillian Murphy, and there was just no way Cillian Murphy was going to lose for Oppenheimer. But still, Paul Giamatti is great in The Holdovers, this 4K Blu-ray. It already had an overseas 4K release, so seeing it come to the United States is a pretty big deal, and this is one that's destined to become a Christmas classic, watched every single December. It's a really good movie. It's very heartwarming, and it's definitely one I would like to pick up. I might grab this on day one. I'm not entirely sure, though. The other one that I might grab on day one, but I'm not entirely sure about, is Ted on 4K Blu-ray. I have Ted on Blu-ray, so I don't know if I'll grab the 4K Blu-ray right away. That might be one that I wait for a sale, but I'm really glad to see this one getting a 4K Blu-ray upgrade. We're also going to be getting a Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman movie on 4K Blu-ray, Far and Away. Now, this is no Days of Thunder. This is an alright movie. It's coming from Shout Select. I might have to grab it just to have another Tom Cruise movie on 4K Blu-ray, but this is one I'm kind of just indifferent on. Like, I've watched this movie before, and I just thought, it's fine. It's not bad, but it's also not great. So I'll probably end up getting this again just because, one thing I want to have is all the Tom Cruise movies on 4K Blu-ray. Haven't grabbed Oblivion yet. I just have it on Blu-ray. You're also going to get Golden Harvest Volume 2, Shining Stars. I know a lot of people are going to be excited about this, the Wallace and Gromit collection that's going to be coming out. It's got some beautiful packaging. I've never been the biggest fan of them, so it's not something that I'll grab, but if you are a fan, definitely should grab this. Riddick on 4K Blu-ray. So this is finally where we'll have every single Chronicles of Riddick movie on 4K Blu-ray. Is that what they call the franchise, or it's just called the Riddick franchise? But now Chronicles of Riddick came out like a month ago from Arrow Video. I know that Pitch Black has already had a 4K Blu-ray release. So for everyone who's a fan of the Riddick franchise starring Vin Diesel, you'll be able to finally complete that trilogy on 4K Blu-ray this December. Rock and Roll High School on 4K Blu-ray. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is going to get a Blu-ray release. Acquire The Wrath of God on 4K Blu-ray. And then the last one is The Gift, and this is a Sam Raimi movie. I believe this is the last Sam Raimi movie that he did before he did the Spider-Man trilogy of movies. Stars Cate Blanchett. I watched this movie about 2 years ago. I thought it was really good. I just didn't love that movie, but this is one I will grab on 4K Blu-ray. This one I actually might grab on day one just because I remember liking the movie. I've seen it a couple times. Never really loved it, but I still felt like it was a very good movie and one I definitely will watch again. So I also want to have all of Sam Raimi's movies on 4K Blu-ray because we've been very lucky to pretty much get all of his movies released on 4K Blu-ray, including The Quick and the Dead. So I don't know, and we're also going to be getting this year A Simple Plan on 4K Blu-ray from Arrow Video. So, we are still getting spoiled with the Sam Raimi movies on 4K Blu-ray. We got Darkman last year. But either way, I definitely want to grab The Gift on 4K Blu-ray. And Shout and Scream Factory, 2 years in a row, in my opinion, just hit a home run with their announcements for December. They want to make sure they end the year strong, even though it's going to absolutely kill your wallet. But either way, I'm so excited to be getting most of these movies on 4K Blu-ray. Obviously, I'm not going to grab them all day one, but Silent Night, Deadly Night is one I definitely want to grab on 4K Blu-ray day one. The Holdovers more than likely I'll grab. And then, of course, The Faculty on 4K Blu-ray really is the big one, and I can't wait to see what that scan looks like on 4K Blu-ray. We also got confirmation that Twisters is going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray. We talked about this again last week on October 22nd. You can pre-order that now. That's the same week as Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be coming to 4K Blu-rays. So two of the biggest movies of the summer of 2024 will be getting 4K Blu-ray releases on the exact same day. Now, catalog titles are going to be released that same week that I'm more interested in buying than those new releases coming to 4K Blu-ray, mainly because those studio releases, they will drop in price, whereas, the catalog titles, not necessarily, especially movies like The Sixth Sense and Signs coming to 4K Blu-ray and Ghost coming to 4K from Paramount Presents. Like, those are movies I really want that day more than I want Deadpool and Wolverine and Twisters, despite the fact Twisters and Deadpool and Wolverine are some of my favorite movies of 2024. It's just the price of new releases for movies that, we're getting them out on 4K Blu-ray the year they come out. And, those are always studio releases. I feel like those prices are always way too high, especially for the steelbooks. Have you guys saw the prices for the pre-orders of Deadpool and Wolverine? And most of them sold out. They were, I think, at $1.65 at the time of filming. I just checked on Walmart's website. They are $54.95. That's ridiculous. And I can't even justify buying that, in my opinion, at that price. Now, if you buy from Amazon, whatever the lowest price is at the time of, shipment, they will always, honor that. So if it drops and goes on sale at some point, you will be able to get it at that price. But buying something for $55 from Walmart where you're going to be set at that price is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't care how popular the movie is. That is just way too much money. I don't fault anyone for buying it, but unfortunately, then the studios will think, oh, you know what? We can always charge this price for the movies if we all go out and buy them on 4K steelbooks like that. For me, if I don't get the steelbook, I don't get the steelbook. I would like that Wolverine 4K steelbook, but I cannot justify buying it on the same day as those other releases. So more than likely down the line in a sale, I'll just grab the standard 4K version for Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's more than fine. I'll do the same exact thing for Twisters. Wait for it to drop below $20 in a sale, and then that's when I'll swoop in and grab it. I just cannot justify spending like over $30 for a new release, which usually just has limited extras on there. It's the same thing with Maxine. I want Maxine, but I do feel like there's going to be a triple pack from A24 that I've been holding out for with the whole Ty West trilogy with X, Pearl, and Maxine, and I can wait for that. I saw Maxine earlier this year. It's still fresh in my mind. I don't need to run out and grab that 4K Blu-ray, whereas movies like The Sixth Sense and Signs, I haven't seen them in a while, so I'm looking forward to seeing those with an upgrade, whereas Twisters and Deadpool and Wolverine, if you saw them in a Dolby theater, the transfer to your home theater is not going to be as big, and again, you'll probably get limited extras, and you really are paying a premium price for really what's not going to be a premium product, so it's a little bit disappointing. I would love to grab those on October 22nd and review them here on the channel, but I just cannot justify those price tags, and it's really hard. I could just see these new releases getting more and more expensive, and it's something I worry about. I don't want to price out the collectors where we head towards like vinyl, where everything just costs too much money and we have to pick and choose what we want. We already pretty much are at that point, but it's really hard where a one movie gets to almost to video game prices, and that's something I do struggle with, and I'm sure you guys struggle with too, especially around the holiday season. It starts to get a little bit tougher. Your wallet gets a little bit thinner, and you got to start worrying about the end of the year. So, of course, it's a little bit tougher to pick up every single movie on 4K Blu-ray. And then a couple rumors that are almost confirmed, both from Kino Lorber. I imagine these are true just based on the fact that these two movies, they have always been recognized as like cousins to each other. I mean, even Adam Sandler himself has named his studio Happy Madison Production because of Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. Both of those movies are rumored to be coming to 4K Blu-ray in 2025 from Kino Lorber. That makes a lot of sense. I love those two comedies. Those are still my two favorite Adam Sandler movies. That's not true. The Wedding Singer is my favorite Adam Sandler movies, but those would probably be 2 or 3, especially when it comes to his comedies. Those came out at the perfect time. I grew up with all of Adam Sandler's movies, so those had a huge influence on me. Not as much as like Jim Carrey or Will Ferrell. I enjoy a lot of Adam Sandler comedies. Obviously, some are just absolutely atrocious, but for the most part, they got some charm, and Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison are the two big ones. I still quote those movies pretty much all the time. I think Happy Gilmore is a little bit better than Billy Madison, but still, that ridiculous premise of Billy Madison still holds up to this very day, and it's ridiculous. It's still very funny, It's one of my wife's favorite movies, so I know she's going to be happy about it. And I can't wait to see Happy Gilmore again. Happy Gilmore 2 is supposedly coming out next year. I know they're filming it. I look forward to seeing what they do with that. Hopefully they stick the landing. I have all the hope in the world that they will. It's a Netflix thing. I'm not expecting it to be a classic like the original one is, but I'm still really excited for it. One that got confirmed for a official release date is Beetlejuice on 4K Blu-ray. That's going to be coming out on November 19th. That's one, it's a studio release. I probably won't pick it up on day one. I am very interested, I'm not going to lie to you guys, for that glow-in-the-dark steelbook just to see what it is. But again, I don't know if I can justify paying that price, but still, I really want it. That's the hard thing about being a collector is when you do want that steelbook and it's sitting right there, it's hard to say no. But your bank account will let you know if you can afford it. And believe me, it does. It's just that, I really want Beetlejuice. I will definitely have it by next spooky season so I can do a Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice double feature. That way I'll say Beetlejuice 3 times in a row and hopefully summon them. There was one thing I forgot to bring up in the regular recording of the show. I forgot to bring up that Vinegar Syndrome announced their October releases, and the big one that was in there for me was the Tenant, directed by Roman Polanski, which is one of the most underrated horror films of the 1970s. And the packaging on this, it opens like a window. That is just absolutely beautiful. So Vinegar Syndrome went all out for this one. It might not be available to pre-order at this time because people were buying this pretty damn fast. There is going to be a standard edition down the line, and The Tenant is one of those movies from the 1970s that I do highly recommend. The ending to that movie just shocked the hell out of me the first time I saw it, so I could definitely recommend grabbing The Tenant on 4K Blu-ray. I do want to grab this one. It's really hard to justify that price in the moment. Again, October is just a loaded month. I can't buy everything. I really wish I could, but man, we're getting so many movies on 4K Blu-ray to end this year, as we usually do going into the holiday season. You really got to pick and choose what you buy. So that's another one it's hard for me to justify buying it, even though I want it so bad because I love Vinegar Syndrome's packaging. When Vinegar Syndrome matches up with the right movie, you're going to get the highest of quality when it comes to the picture, audio, and with the packaging. So I'm sure The Tenant is going to be no different. And then another one that's been rumored to come to 4K Blu-ray, it's not officially confirmed, but I've been seeing a lot, is Once Upon a Time in America. I believe this was Sergio Leone's last film he ever directed. It's considered one of the most ambitious films ever made. It's a great epic film. I hope that one comes to 4K Blu-ray. I would definitely end up grabbing that. And also, I talked about this on the Q&A show yesterday a little bit. Pulp Fiction, one of my favorite films, is going to be getting a 30th anniversary 4K Blu-ray release in this beautiful collector's packaging. And like I was saying, we're not going to have anything newly added to it. So if you have that previously released 4K Blu-ray that came with a steelbook or a standard edition, all the extras and the film and audio itself, all that is going to be exactly the same. It's just there for the collectors who truly love that movie. And I truly love that movie. But if I'm going to be getting nothing new but just, new packaging, that's just not the way I'm going to go, unfortunately. But still, I'm really glad they're doing it. And now let's get back to the rest of the show. And then one thing we didn't talk about last week was Shaun of the Dead coming to 4K Blu-ray with a brand new 20th anniversary collector's edition. This will have a steelbook and a standard edition. And the big thing is if you have the previous Shaun of the Dead, like I do in the triple pack with Hot Fudge, The World's End, the Cornetto trilogy of movies, it has Shaun of the Dead in there, but it only has HDR10. This new scan apparently has Dolby Vision on it, so I might actually end up grabbing that just to compare them. And I really like Shaun of the Dead. I can't believe it's 20 years old. I remember seeing that movie in the theaters, so my God, I really can't believe it. I really can't. It's just one of those movies that snuck up on you, and then that movie was so good, I was really excited for Hot Fuzz, and Hot Fuzz is still my favorite Edgar Wright movie. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg have always had great chemistry. I always just like that middle chapter of movies, but still, Shaun of the Dead is a classic. So that's going to be coming to 4K Blu-ray again, also, I believe, this December. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's what I'm probably going to grab as well, just to see that Dolby Vision versus HDR comparison. And then the last subject I actually want to talk about today is Dolby Vision, because it was rumored earlier this week that Disney was going to be going back to Dolby Vision because, they kind of stopped using it for a while, although there was some movies that, especially the James Cameron 4K Blu-rays, that had Dolby Vision on them. And from what I was able to understand and get more clarity on is that apparently it's only going to be for select movies. It's not going to be every movie. So Alien Romulus coming to 4K Blu-ray will feature Dolby Vision, which does not surprise me. I saw that in a Dolby theater, so I imagine it was done with Dolby Vision. So I'm pretty excited. It would be like stripping away a feature, which again, we strip away IMAX scenes from other 4K Blu-rays, so it wouldn't be a surprise, but I'm really glad to see Disney doing this. I've said it here before and I'll say it again. For the most part, Dolby Vision is the best. But when you look at the 4K Blu-ray and you look at Dolby Vision and HDR, you won't really notice a big difference. Sometimes I won't even really mention it if it's not that big of a difference. Whereas like movies like The Stepfather on 4K Blu-ray, where you really notice the difference in the Dolby Vision and the HDR, and the Dolby Vision is that much better, I'll make sure to make a note about it. But for the most part, when you compare them to the naked eye, you're not going to notice that much of a difference. Dolby Vision definitely has more colors available to them. Their color gamut, it's definitely wider, so over HDR10. But I assume it's something very similar to the video games where, if you're comparing an Xbox Series X game to a PS5 game, they're both on different consoles. The games don't ever look different, despite the fact that one of the consoles might have more power than the other. I assume it's the same with Dolby Vision and HDR. You have to really go in there and adjust the Dolby Vision to make sure that it is actually better than the HDR. And I'm sure not every studio is doing that with all their 4K Blu-ray releases. So when I do look at HDR and compare Dolby Vision, it's not usually that much of a difference. But, sometimes Dolby Vision really does make a big difference. That's why Shaun of the Dead coming to 4K Blu-ray with Dolby Vision might look that much better. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's really it as far as the news goes for this week's episode of Let's Talk Physical Media. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, share this video if you could. We also have channel memberships, so if you want to become a friend of the channel, or a producer like John Doe Juggalo and Jason Martin, or even a channel director like Frank from Frank's Media and Reviews, and Mr. Smelly Potato, you can look for all that information in the description below. But guys, if you got no mind to throw away, we don't mind at all. We just hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, get out in those streets, tell your friends about us, and then we'll be seeing you around.